So this is our mayor again. This is Quentin Lucas. Our fiscal year budget for 2018 was $1.59 billion for the city of Kansas City. And of that $1.5 billion, education received $496,000, which does not seem like that much when you consider that we were in the billions. And let's be honest, and let's remind people that there are actually 4 school districts that receive students from Kansas City. Actually, maybe 5. 6, now that I think about it. So there are 6 school districts within Kansas City city limits that receive portions of this funding. So the social tensions, and I'm going to look specifically at the center community right now, the Great Truce Divide. So in 2010, you can still see the segregation issues. Black is one way of truce, white is the other way of truce, and luckily our district gets both sides of truce to attend it. And then how do we find information about Center's history and what's going on in the city? Well, there's also a Center museum that's updated frequently, usually with the athletics, but it is interesting what is held in that Center museum to show other things that you wouldn't think you'd realize. We also have a city directory. I use the Census Bureau. The Chamber of Commerce for South Kansas City was updated last 2012. So their information was pretty old considering the Census Bureau is going into a new census. And they were giving me information from 2018 at the census, or predicted information from 2018. The school board meeting and notes is where you learn a lot of information about what's going on in the education realm. Also, your PTA and PTO at each school, they are great informants. And then we have student government to learn from students what's happening at home. And then we have that strong alumni association too. There are several multicultural issues in the Center School District. Our Spanish-speaking population is on the increase. We are actually in need of translators and English language learners, teachers, ESL teachers, because we cannot keep up with the immigrant population that we are receiving. And we also have this population, these immigrants from Western Africa, that we also need to support, and they're speaking a variety of languages when they get to our schools. At the school level, a lot of our students are brown, whether they're Latinx or Black, they're still brown students, and we have an all-white staff. And so one of the big things that always comes up every year is that dress code, especially headgear, hoods, hats, do-rags, scarves. Like, should we allow it or should we not? The sagging pants at one point was a big issue and a hot topic. Like, if they're here to learn and they're in the classroom learning, then why does it matter what's on their head? But we continue to fight this fight every year. Center's vision statement and mission statement I thought were interesting because they want all students to demonstrate high academic character and teamwork in a diverse community. And I'm just wondering what Center considers diverse, because I work for Center, I love Center, but I don't consider us a diverse community. We just have 2 distinct populations, but that doesn't mean we have a wide variety of diversity. And then our current power structure is that top-down approach that a lot of districts have. The Board of Education runs everything, the superintendent listens to the board, and then everything is pushed down from central office down. And then finally, how do we measure public opinion? Well, we have surveys, and we love surveys. We love Google surveys, Monkey survey, you name the survey engine, we have probably poll everywhere. We've done a survey on it and sent it out and tried to get feedback from our students, staff, and our parents. But to be quite honest, there are several times I've asked to sit down with people and to look at the feedback, and it's not getting looked at as frequently or as intentionally as you would want it to be looked at. And then we did have recently a superintendent search committee come in because, like I said earlier, we do have an interim superintendent. So the superintendent search committee did do online polling. They did do face-to-face interviews. They also went into focus groups, and then they did some some like sessions at South Patrol Station, and they did some other sessions at the Marlboro Community Center, some info sessions. So I think the superintendent search committee actually reached out more to the community in a different way than we as a school community have in the past. But that is Center for you. Thank you.